Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing a video on another customer's gun. This is a G&P Evike Custom gun. Now, I looked on Evike and I couldn't find this exact model, and I don't think he pieced it together. I think it actually came like this. So I don't know if maybe he purchased a G&P M4 from Evike and had them put this rail on it, but it's probably just a Evike Custom, where Evike has G&P put these together and then they sell them. Now, you know it's an Evike Custom because it has Evike right there. Plus, up here on the actual logo, it says Evike.com too, on the G&P logo. So it's not just Evike's logo slapped on there. They actually have G&P's cool engraving there with Evike.com on there. So, it's an interesting gun. It's cool. It's solid. There's no wobble. But this thing was a wreck when I got it. I mean, it was missing the bolt lock. It was missing the spring for the charging handle was all, like, stretched. It was probably this long. Because the person had just yanked it, and so I just completely cut it off. What else? It was missing the spring for the motor. The wiring was all crapped up. I had to completely rewire it. And he had Tamiya, so I made an adapter for him. So it's wired to Dean's, but I made an adapter for him because it was to Tamiya, so he doesn't have to buy a new battery. What else? There was no nub in the hop-up. What else? There was no spring on the front of the hop-up, and then a few other little things that I'm just not thinking of right now. So basically, it has a G&P gearbox in it, so I'll go over the internals and then the externals. So to start off, let's start with the externals, and let's go from the back. This is G&P's, I think they call it the golf ball stock, crane stock, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I think it's fine. The only thing that I do not like about it is some of these G&P stocks, when you take the back off, there's no way to get to your battery. This is a solid piece. So that means you have to take the stock all the way off, and that limits you to space. The only space that you have is in here. Okay, so you're only going to be able to fit a buffer lipo in here. Because it's just it's too hard to slide the battery down in here, plug it in, and then slide this together. In fact, I think it's impossible. Because my brother's is like that too. He has one of these exact stocks, and he uses a stick lipo. So I do not like these G&P stocks. I think they're crappy because there's no way to. You can modify it. You can take a Dremel and just Dremel the whole thing out. But if you were to do that, when you put this on there, it might be a little loose, but also it's going to have a hole here because you're going to cut it. So sorry. I mean, the stock seems to suck, but if you plan on using stick lipos, you're fine. Or if you plan on replacing it, you're fine there. It's got the G&P pistol grip that's, again, kind of golf ball styled. And then you have G&P's metal body. Again, Evike logos. Sorry about that. So, it also has a Daniel Defense rail. I don't know if this is, I assume this is the airsoft version. I don't see any logos on it. This might even be like the Avengers. Oh, nope. M4A1, RS2, manufacturer Daniel Defense. So maybe it is a real one, but I do know Madbull licensed some of these, so it's probably just a Madbull one. I doubt it's a real one. You have G&P rail covers, G&P hand stop, which is awesome. I love this hand stop. A unique flash hydrant. It's plastic. It's been painted black. And then you have Evike's take on the Emba sights. So they're more like the APS sights, because when you fold them down, they have the white dots. And also the push button on the front instead of the side. The lever on the side like the Magpul. But they're still kind of copies. Internally, it is completely stock from what I can tell. It has a G&P M120 motor, which is good for speed. A lot of people like G&P guns, and they love to throw 11-to-1s in there. And they shoot pretty quick. You can get some G&P guns to shoot around 30 a second on an 11-to-1 LiPo, which is crazy for a stock gun. Now, it's not going to hold up forever on that. First of all, it is using 8mm bearings, which could be a weak point for high rate of fire. I don't trust bearings in my experience. I just always use bushings. I really just always use bushings. Not that I hate bearings or anything, I just heard the only good bearings are Modify, and they're like $15 or $20 for a set, and I've never wanted to spend the money on them, so I just use like Dream Army bushings or SHS bushings or VFC bushings are good, you know, just steel bushings. As far as feet per second, it does shoot 380 FPS with the hop up adjusted. That is with a 603 Mad Bull in a barrel, a stock bucking, and a stock metal hop up unit. That is with the nub, because it was missing the nub. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping all over the place. Back to the gearbox, though. I use this G&P's piston, which has 4 metal teeth, if I'm not mistaken. So you can short stroke if you want, which is good. But your pickup tooth is still plastic, and it's polycarbonate, so it's not, or it's nylon. Nylon fiber, I think, is what it's considered. It's not the strongest. I've seen them break. So, yeah, I mean, high rate of fire, if you want this to last, I would get a metal rack piston, bushings, and a different high-speed motor. You could get a ZCI balance. Because these use this until it breaks. These G&P motors, the M120s, they start up, it's a speed motor, so it starts slower and it gets faster. Plus they heat up quite a bit, and I've had 3 of these burn out. Just in my airsoft experience, customers, 3 of them have been burnt out that I've seen. So, actually, might be 4. Yeah, it's got to be 4. Because I have 2 broken downstairs, and then I had one break on me like 4 years ago. So it's got to be up in the around 4. And that's kind of unacceptable. So it's a trend. They're not very good. The gears are pretty good. I mean, they're standard Chinese gears. The teeth are a little bit thicker than your standard Chinese gears, so it's a little bit of an upgrade technically. It's got a built-in sector chip. It's metal, and it'll help feeding. It has an aluminum O-ring nozzle, which is a plus. That is an upgrade that you'd have to pay for a lot of other guns. Same with the bearings. Some other guns you have to buy bearings, but in my experience, bearings isn't really an upgrade to me. Depends on what the stock is, I guess. So yeah, G&P, I mean, they have a really good gearbox shell as well. I have one of their gearbox shells in my MP5, actually. Really do recommend their gearbox shells. They're very strong. They're like just as good as VFC on the higher end. You know, gearbox shells, better quality, better material, thicker. You know, it is wired to Dean's, like I said, and it shoots about 380, mid 380s, like 385, 380 with the 2. So it would be legal at Assault Airsoft. I mean, at least I think if you're 5 over, I would allow it if I owned a field, but especially if it's 385. But if it was, or 380. If the limit was 400 and somebody was shooting 405, I don't know that I'd allow it, because 400 is high for indoor. That's a lot of feet per second. But as far as, since it's 380, you know, I give some leeway. In fact, I think at the field they give some people leeway even at 390, which isn't a bad thing, really. But, you know, there always are techs and stuff that can do spring swaps, but... Okay, so we're just going to shoot this out of the window. I'm using a Ares high cap. This high cap is like 3 years old, so it doesn't keep its tension that well. That 11.1 LiPo, this is my flashlight, by the way. The barrel needs cleaned. I didn't clean it. I noticed it needed cleaned, and I didn't clean it yet. Alright, so I'm going to try just a little bit of full auto. Just slightly. I don't know if it's going to feed, because this thing shoots quick. Oh, it fed. It feeds. I'm guessing it shoots 28 a second. Yeah, it's probably 28 a second. It's pretty quick. I mean, pretty dang quick. For outdoors, it'd be fantastic to mow people down. But as you can tell, it speeds up. You can hear it kind of ramp up. That's how a lot of speed motors are. I think pretty much all of them. I'm not sure exactly what the TPA on this. It's either 14 or 12. But a ZCI balance would be 16, and it had neo magnets, which would be just better. I think it's an M120 in this gearbox too. Most G&Ps come with pretty heavy springs. Most G&Ps are going to shoot 360 to 420. Trigger response isn't that good, even with an 11-to-1, because it is a speed motor. Not much torque to it at all. Alright, well that's it for my video. I think that's plenty of ammo. He does have a little bit of Velcro back here, so I didn't want to rip it off. I figured maybe he put that in there on purpose, or there wasn't a spring on the front of the hop-up, so it seems to shoot better. Occasionally, it'll sound a little weird, and I think it's because the FPS is a little bit lower on some shots. It's not too big of a deal. When I chroned it, the lowest I got was like 371, so I mean, it went down by like 10 to 15, which isn't a whole lot. I mean, you get that with AUGs, but the barrel probably needs cleaned. So, thank you for watching though. If you do have any questions, let me know. Also, the battery's probably warm in this thing, because this gun draws, yeah, my battery's warm. Warmer than any gun. None of my guns would draw this much power. These motors draw a lot of amps, so this is a 15 to 25C. If you're going to do a G&P, if you're stock G&P and you want to use an 11-to-1, to be honest, I would use a higher C so that you can give the motor more power, because if you don't have enough C rating out of your battery's going to warm up because it's struggling to power the gun. It's pretty much what happens. So if you want to run one of these, you can get 25 to 50C stick LiPos. I'd probably get one of those, and then I'd replace, if I were you, I'd put a ZCI high torque in here. A ZCI high torque with a 25 to 50C battery, 11-to-1, is probably going to get you 25. So still plenty of, rate of fire. 25 is still pretty good, and you'll get better trigger response in this, like twice as good. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later, next video.